order on July 25th, 2023, and ask our city clerk to please call roll.
Commissioner Guest?
Present.
Commissioner Henderson?
Present.
Commissioner Smith?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson? Mayor Bray?
Present. I ask Commissioner Guest to do the invocation, and then we'll remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord God, we thank you for our city. We thank you for each and every person up here, and we thank you for who you are. Please show your favor, show your blessings on us, and let our decisions be favorable in your sight. We love you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, City Manager, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
None this evening, Mayor.
Okay, very first thing we have one of our directors, Eric Stuber, here to introduce a new employee, a GIS specialist. So, Eric, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. I got so excited, I came up early before the additions.
Let me introduce you first, okay?
Yeah, thank you. So, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager, Madam Clerk. We have been on a search for a GIS specialist. I'm happy to report that we've hired one. He started June 29th. His name's Dallas McKinney. He doesn't want to come up here to the podium.
He's got no choice.
We're in IT, you know, we like to be behind the scenes and not at the podium. But anyway, he comes to us, or well, sorry, let me back up. He studied meteorology at Western Kentucky University. Then he went on to get his master's degree in environmental science from the University of Utah, where he studied GIS. And he's been working for FEMA as a GIS analyst prior to coming here. So he resides in Mayfield, and he is working towards relocating to the city of Paducah.
Well, great. Welcome. We appreciate you being here. GIS, that functions is a very critical function, and you know, for all governments these days. So it sounds like you have a lot of experience, and we hope you have a good experience here in Paducah and a good career.
Yes, sir, and I'm happy to be back and out of school and trying to use my skills to contribute to the city I love. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, he did speak.
Don't ask any more questions.
I will brag on him already.
Okay,
though.
good.
So, Dallas came in, we had a meeting for, and then he was getting up to speed, and one of our department team leaders asked for something, and he took that project on and with short order found a solution and put it in place. And so we're glad to have him as part of the team.
That's what we need, people who can get things done. So congratulations and welcome.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I got a couple of awards tonight. One of the things that I get to do is recognize people who have made contributions in the community. And tonight I want to recognize Bo Dotson. Bo, if you want to come up here. Good to see you. Welcome. Yeah. Bo is a meteorologist. If you don't know, he's a meteorologist, and he's done a lot more for this community than just be a meteorologist. He shares his knowledge around the community. I know he's on social media. A lot of people are big fans of Bo, just like they're big fans of NOAA and other people that are out there that follow the weather and have a particular expertise for that. And so because of Bo's contributions through the years, I wanted to recognize what he has meant to the community as a meteorologist. And so under these circumstances, I just want to, I take a great pleasure to make you an official Duke of Paducah, Bo.
Thank you. 20 years.
years that I've been helping Paducah and McCracken County.
Yeah.
That's a lot of disasters, and we've been through a lot of weather.
You sure have, and, you know, based upon all the disasters and whether you call it climate change or all the things that are happening, I mean, I think all of us have been reminded how important meteorologists are to all of us. So,
Thank you.
congratulations. Let's get a picture of photo op, okay?
That photo op's great. Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Okay, you're welcome. And I have another award to bestow tonight. Bennett, you want to come up here with me? I want to introduce everybody to Bennett Seaton. Bennett is in Lone Oak, going into Lone Oak Middle School as a 7th grader. You can see that he dresses up pretty nice for a 7th grader. But Bennett sent me a letter a couple of months ago, and it sat on my desk, and I really didn't do anything about it right away. But essentially, he wrote a letter expressing his concern about the lack of sports facilities in our community. And of course, you know, the City of Paducah and McCracken County are in the process of building a sizable outdoor sports complex. In fact, to the tune of a minimum of $43 million. We don't know what the final tab's going to be. But I assure you, Bennett, that we are going to have world-class outdoor sports facilities. I hope that we get it built in time, you know, for you to be able to pickleball or bat or whatever. What's your favorite sport, by the way?
Basketball, sir.
Basketball. Oh, no wonder he's growing tall, you know. So at any rate, we have an award called a Junior Duke of Paducah, and it's to recognize young people such as yourself for doing things positive and caring about the community. So it gives me great pleasure to bestow upon you a Junior Duke of Paducah award.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Congratulations. And now, before we get into the agenda, one of the things I'm going to move public comments to the front of the agenda, and we have one person here tonight who wants to make some public comments. And Kimberly, Miss, I want to pronounce it, Keishun? I'm sorry. Please move forward, and just as a reminder, just make sure keep your comments, you know, to in positive in nature as much as possible, and don't direct them to any of us individually. And but we really appreciate you being here, and look forward to your comments.
Well, good evening, and thank you for letting me to speak to you. I've been a member here in Paducah for 18 years. In the 18 years, yes, Paducah has changed, and I'm saddened to say Paducah's gotten a little wild. Our children are no longer safer in our neighborhoods, nor are our elderly. There's cars. I live in the Cornell subdivision, right by Morgan Elementary School. Officers are very, very limited, and to be honest with you, as a taxpayer, I wish we could get more officers to basically protect our young ones, protect our elderly, and stuff like that. Just yesterday, between 10 to 12 people were caught on Cornell Street from flying through stop signs and speeding and almost hitting the children. I live on Cornell Street. I have to run across the street to walk with my neighbor every night because I've almost been hit numerous times. I ask on behalf of the city, can we do something to protect our children? Because our children are our future. We're putting more into building hotels, as you said to this young gentleman, a sports complex and everything else. If our children aren't safe, what good is a sports complex or a hotel or the safety of Paducah? I ask on behalf of a taxpayer and as a concerned citizen, is there something more we can do for our children and our elderly people that Paducah can stay as a great, safe place to live?
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for making your comments, and I mean, I'll briefly address. I mean, I think that it's always a balancing act, you know, you know, investing monies in police and fire and other, you know, safety, you know, the keeping our citizens safe. So I think we always listen to people, you know, when they have concerns and do our best to address them. And so we will continue to do that. My understanding is that we've increased our enforcement in your neighborhood, which is probably why we caught the 10 or 12 people speeding yesterday. I mean, that's a lot of people in one neighborhood.
It's been crazy, and, you know, I talked to the officer in charge yesterday, and I said, I don't want it to be like it was with the Morgan Elementary School playground, you know, when there was a kid almost beaten to death, and then cameras were putting up. I've lost a child. I don't want to see a parent bury a child because somebody wants to be reckless. I love living here in Paducah. I've came from a very small state. I want to continue being in Paducah where I can say this is a safe place to live and this is a safe place for our families. So as I said, I'm just asking if you guys could help.
Thank you for your comments, and we'll certainly take those under advisement. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You have a good night.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the Board of Commissioners and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The city clerk will read the items recommended for approval unless any commissioner would like an item removed for separate discussion. So I'll go ahead and ask the city clerk to please read the items.
Approve minutes for the July 11th, 2023 Board of Commissioners meeting. Receive and file documents. Appointment of Jenny McCormick to the Tree Advisory Board to replace Henry Barber, whose term has expired. This term shall expire July 26, 2027. Personnel actions. A municipal order accepting the bid of Right Way Janitorial Services, LLC, in the base bid amount of $39,500 for custodial services for public restroom facilities and parks, plus unit pricing per service for the Arts and Crafts Building, Anna Balmer Building, and city-sponsored community events, and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. A municipal order accepting the bid of Valley Contracting Services, LLC, for the probation and parole office building renovation in an amount of $111,400, and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. A municipal order authorizing the finance director to make payment to Tag Truck Center for the purchase of one 2024 M2 PacMac mini packer in the amount of $192,557 for use by the Public Works Department. A municipal order accepting the bid of Linwood Motors for sale to the city of Paducah of 8 Paducah police rated SUVs in an amount of $432,646 for use by the Paducah Police Department, and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for same. A municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a declaration of trust and trust partnership agreement for the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services Workers' Compensation Trust. A municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a declaration of trust and trust participation agreement with the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services for General Insurance Trust. A municipal order approving the execution of a grant application to obtain a 2023 through 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant through the U.S. Department of Justice in an amount of $11,554 to be used by the Paducah Police Department to purchase radar speed measuring devices, accepting all awarded grant funds, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same. A municipal order authorizing a statement of work and contract extension for endpoint detection and response services with Kroll Incorporated in an amount of $158 per endpoint plus endpoint overages, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents related to same.
So moved.
Second.
Call roll.
Commissioner Guess,
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson,
Aye.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Mayor Bray.
Aye. Okay, the next item on the agenda is board appointments to the Human Rights Commission. And I'll let the city clerk go ahead and read it first, and then I'll talk about it.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners approve the action of Mayor Bray in an appointment of the following to the Paducah Human Rights Commission: Jana Dawson and Robert Hernandez, said term shall expire July 25th, 2026. Krista DeBrock, Ironda Lovelace, and Kimberly Yates, said term shall expire July 25th, 2025. And Dan Patterson and Anthony Walton, said term shall expire July 25th, 2024.
Happy to make this motion.
Second.
So we've gone through, we made the decision probably 6 or 8 months ago to repopulate the Human Rights Commission and go through a process to determine the initial appointees to the commission. We made the decision, Commissioner Henderson and I partnered on this effort. We made the decision to put a call out in the community for those who are interested in serving on the Human Rights Commission. It's not for everybody. You make a commitment to serve on a board or a commission. You have to attend meetings. You have to be engaged. You have to be passionate about the things that are being discussed, and you have to be engaged in the community. And so we put a call out, and I think initially we had maybe 16 people who were interested. And when we started in this process, our ordinance only called for 5 people on the commission. So we, as we began the process, we made the decision that we thought that 7 would be a better number. So we had to really make 7 appointments from a group of 16 people. And so it was a process where we asked everybody to come in and we talked with them. Really, there was nobody that we talked with, interviewed. It was really more of a discussion than it was an interview. But everybody was qualified, everybody was passionate, everybody had something that they were interested in giving back to the community by serving on the commission. But in the end, we had to make a decision, and so we made a decision that these were the 7 people that we would initially select to the Human Rights Commission. We also staggered people's terms. So there are people that are being appointed to 1, 2, and 3-year terms. So that decision was made so that everybody wouldn't roll off of the commission at the same time, and people got a chance to make sure that they wanted to continue to serve when their time was up. Based upon our discussions, we also selected a chairman who's, I'm happy to say, is here tonight. Robert Hernandez is a shop owner in downtown Paducah and has a lot of experience with human rights. And Robert, would you like to come up and say anything? Do you have anything to say? You always have something to say. Congratulations on your selection as chairman. It's great to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, all of you, for the appointment and the confidence that you're expressing. I'm excited because just a few years ago, the city elected to do interviews for the city manager and included a DEI committee, which I was a part of. And since then, the city employees have gone through diversity training. Law enforcement has gone through diversity training, and the schools now have DEI officers. So again, a step forward that Paducah is doing and becoming really a gem in Western Kentucky and probably in the Midwest, making all these steps to address the issues that are on hand. I think we're going to demonstrate how we can become an ally to anyone who's oppressed or is experiencing discrimination of any kind.
Robert, you want to tell us why you're so passionate about human rights?
Well, my own personal experience, I'm a son of migrant workers back in the 50s, and I just remember too many occasions where if we wanted to go shopping, we were told we weren't allowed to enter, or we were told to go to the back door, or we'd just shoot away and called awful names. And of course, nationally, every headline, there's a headline every night about some injustice occurring against some group or another. So, yeah, we have some work to do, and I think this is the place to start that.
Very good. It really gives me a lot of pride to hear you say, Paducah is a gem as a city, or is becoming a gem and is progressive. I think that's what this entire commission, seeks for our city, is to continue to grow and be a progressive city. So,
Thanks, Mr. Hernandez.
Yes, sir.
Just what is your business downtown?
Oh, that'd be solicitation, wouldn't it?
No, I'm just curious.
Okay, my wife and I own the Rock Shop, which is at 311 Broadway.
Okay.
Right across the Over-Under
I
restaurant.
know right exactly where it is.
So, feel free to come by.
okay, you can get a YouTube tape of that and just run it over and over and over. Thanks, Robert, for being here, and congratulations again. So, any other comments, Commissioner Henderson? Anything to add?
Well, as you have already said, we had a lot of qualified persons to come and talk with us, and I think that it was a difficult decision, but I'm excited because I think we've made a good decision. I think we've got some people who are going to be working diligently to continue to make the progress here in Paducah. So it's exciting.
Great. Everybody else, we okay? Okay. I would ask our city clerk to please call roll.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, we have 4 municipal orders, and I'll ask the city clerk to read the first one.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt a municipal order entitled, a municipal order authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Paducah Transit Authority in the amount of $215,000 for public transportation services.
So moved.
Second?
City manager, you want to tell us about this one?
Sure. Mayor, Commission, as you'll recall, during our budgeting process, we allocate funds to some of our community partners that provide a service services that the city in-house can't provide, and one of those is public transportation. And so we've had a longstanding partnership with the Paducah Transit Authority, and we're happy to bring this forward tonight for you in the amount of $215,000 to support the work of the Paducah Transit Authority. And this would be paid out in 4 quarterly installments. It's not just all a one-time payment, but like many of our contracts for services that we do on that. And I'll answer any questions if you have.
So I'll make this comment. I decided some months ago that I really needed to ride on some of our PATS buses in order to experience what some of our citizens experience. And what I discovered was really how important public transportation is to some people, getting back and forth to work. Or getting to Walmart to shop, or one of the grocery stores. And so it was a very good experience. One of the buses, did have a little problem, while I was on it, but that's just a normal part of operating a fleet of buses. And I think that, a town our size, to be able to offer public transportation, to people is critical. People getting to work, getting across town. Not everybody owns a car. Not everybody can afford a car. Not everybody really wants to drive. So I think it's a very important service, for our community, and it's one of those. I think it would do everybody on the commission good to ride a bus sometime. just to see what people, to go from, it goes all over the city. So it was quite an experience for me. So, okay, call roll, please.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, City Clerk, you can read the next one.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Mayor to Execute a Contract for Services with the Greater Paducah Economic Development Council in the amount of $250,000 for specific services."
So moved. I'm sorry. I'll let you.
So moved?
Second.
They were so anxious.
Yeah. I'm going to get it done.
I'll talk a little bit about this because I serve on the GPEDC Board of Directors, and just for everybody's information, this is the organization that really is out, looking for new plants and new businesses to come to our community. This is the organization that really is focused on promoting Paducah as a site for a new plant, or any sort of new business to come and relocate here. It's the organization that's focused on trying to drive job growth in our community, and it's very critical that the city support it. The city supports it to the tune of $250,000 a year, and the county does exactly the same thing. In addition, there is an Industrial Development Authority, IDA, which acquires and owns land for the purposes of development. We also contribute to that entity as well, as does the county. So job growth is something that is elusive. It's not easy. I think somebody once told me that there's, I can't remember the number, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 counties in the United States of America, and every single one of them was focused on recruiting and job growth. So it's a very competitive business that we're in out there. But it's important that we always put our best foot forward. And the judge and I actually went to dinner last night with a prospect who was in town, looking at possibly relocating and a second-tier distributor to the automotive industry, a Canadian company. So we just need more opportunities like that, and it's really a very important function, for government, is to try to attract new business. So any thoughts from anybody else?
No, I think it's great. There's a lot of effort that goes into recruiting and a lot of money too, and it's just, I just think it's important that we're always out there swinging. And this money is precious to the city, precious to taxpayers, but it's also, it's something that we've got to do if we want to land it.
It's one of those things that sometimes people are quick to criticize. It's something that I hear a lot. Why hasn't Paducah landed an Amazon, or why this, why that? And those are legitimate questions. They're absolutely legitimate questions. And they're not easy answers. A lot of it has to do with our geography, where we are in relation to plants that supply other plants, suppliers. It's a myriad, of answers to that question. But we've got a good team in place. They're out there working hard, and we have to support them in every way that we can to try to stimulate job growth. So.
I think prior to my being on the commission, I was probably one of those people out there wanting to know why. But now getting on this side of it, I understand it even more, and I see the hard work that the people are doing to try to create an environment for businesses to come. So it's coming. I speak that into existence.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those comments, Commissioner.
Mayor, I would just, for the public's knowledge, this investment, much like the one from the Paducah Transit Authority, would be paid out in 4 quarterly installments.
Okay. Thank you, City Manager. Okay, call roll. City Manager, or City Clerk, sorry.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Gray?
Aye. All right, I'll ask you to read the next municipal order, please.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Authorizing the Finance Director to Make Payment to the Paducah-McCracken County Convention Center in an Amount of $40,736.23 for services related to the setup and dismantling of the Dome Pavilion for the 2023 AQS Quilt Show."
So moved.
Second. This is with Sandra being gone.
You just messed the whole thing up,
I was just happy to
absolutely.
get a second in.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs a lead horse.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Clerk. So the city has agreed to reimburse the convention center for half of the cost to set up and dismantle the dome, which, as you're familiar, is primarily used for the quilt show. So this action authorizes payment and lets us fulfill our agreement with them, and it's for $40,736.
Yeah, so this is, I'm going to talk about this one a little bit because I'm intimately involved every year. So as everybody knows, we have a quilt show that's here every spring. As probably most people know, some 20 years ago, at some point in time, we bought and erected a dome. And it's such that we can only erect that dome for 6 months of a year. So it's only useful essentially for 6 months, but in reality, it's only useful for the term of the quilt show because it's such that I guess the quality of the experience is that the convention center really doesn't feel that great about using it for other events. So essentially, it's up for a week, and then we take it down. And there's quite a bit of expense, as you can see, in erecting it and taking it down. So where am I going with this? In the long run, the city, the county, the convention center have to determine a more permanent solution to this. And because right now we have an outlay of capital that goes out every year to put this up and take it down. The quilt show is not going away. AQS has been bought by the next generation. There's young owners, young managers. They're out working quilt shows, and the Paducah Quilt Show is the granddaddy of them all. And so they're going to continue to grow, and so we've got a decision coming, a community decision about what we're going to do about adding space to the convention center. And it's not just about the quilt show, it's about indoor sports. Because during the winter, between basketball, pickleball, any indoor sports during inclement weather, there are a lot of tournaments, and the convention center is able to use the expo center for those purposes. And my understanding is they could use more space. So I think we have to take kind of an informed approach to this and make, eventually get ourselves to a community decision as to how we're going to move forward. So I wanted to talk about that publicly, kind of in conjunction with the fact that we have this outlay of capital that we have to do every year for the, on behalf of the quilt show, and just see if there was any discussion among the commissioners. I mean, we'll be hearing more about it as time goes on, but I'd be welcome to hear any of your thoughts.
I just would be interested in seeing the potential revenue from the sports, that sort of thing.
Right.
See if it probably won't pay for itself. Just understand.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think we need to understand really in more detail what the potential is. And I'm not sure exactly how we do that, but that's going to be the natural question that people are going to ask. But I think I did notice that Owensboro just completed, I believe it was 18 million?
They're doing their final study or design of it, but they haven't gone into construction of
Okay.
it yet. But it's about an $18 million project for an indoor. I forget what the total square footage of that
Yeah,
was.
it was a lot bigger than
Yeah,
probably
yes.
what we're talking about, so, but still, we'd be talking, I mean, you pick the number, I mean, we'd be talking about a facility that would, that would be considerably more than what we're spending right now at $40,000 a year
Yeah.
to put up the bubble and take it down, so.
And that's only our half of the cost of that.
Yeah, that's right. The convention center
center
takes,
pays the other
that's a
half.
good point.
Yeah, so it's an $80,000.
So we spend $81,000 a year putting up and taking down a bubble that, you use for 4 days. So, any other? Yeah. Everybody else good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask the city clerk to please call roll.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, and the final municipal order?
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners adopt a municipal order entitled, "A Municipal Order Adopting Contract Modification Number 1 to the Contract with Precision Construction and Contracting, LLC, to extend the substantial completion and final completion dates, and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract modification and all other documents related to same."
So move.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and City Clerk. We received a request from the contractor, PCC, for an extension to the contract. So this is actually not any financial change to the contract. It's just an extension of 28 days, and that is due to a back order in the lighting. So it's going to
Okay.
be delivered late, and so therefore we need to delay the contract for final
Okay.
completion.
Okay, that's pretty simple.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Only 28 days?
Only 28 days.
Okay, all right.
And, the other thing on this, Commission, Mayor, is that the substantial completion of the project is still the original completion date. It's just final completion, and so we'll have the product complete except for the lighting, and that's what the extension is for.
And what is that completion date?
The substantial completion date was the 1st of August, and then this extends to the end of August.
Okay, so lights will be in by the end of August?
And they'll
Okay,
be,
Yes.
they conceivably playing pickleball first part of August.
First
But not at
of
night.
September. Well, we would get it all completed before we would start getting out there.
Yeah, because we'll have to close when
Close.
they do the install for the lighting, and so we would just
Yeah.
prefer to leave it closed until the lighting is done. Yep, so fence fabric is going up this week, and then the surfacing will go down next week. So we're in pretty good shape as far as the court construction goes, we're just waiting on the lighting.
Lights.
yeah. Yeah, I rode by there over the weekend. It's looking good.
Yeah.
It's looking good, so. Okay, call roll.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye. Okay, we have 3 ordinances to introduce, and I'll ask the city clerk to read the first one, and we have Rick with us tonight to explain any questions we have, so, city clerk?
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Providing for the Closing of 31,659 Square Feet of Plum Street and 111,331 Square Feet of Brower Circle, authorizing the initiation of a request in Circuit Court for the closure and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents relating to same." This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah does hereby authorize the closing of 31,659 Square Feet of Plum Street and 111,331 Square Feet of Brower Circle, and authorizes, empowers, and directs the mayor to execute quitclaim deeds from the City of Paducah to the property owners in or abutting the public way to be closed.
So moved.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission, City Clerk, City Manager. Lindsay's going to pull up a spot here so I can show you where this is at. It's behind Hannon Plaza, out off of Lone Oak Road and off of Blambo Road. On this, here we come. Lindsay, is that me or you doing that? Okay, all right, there we go. The area that we're discussing, this is Blanville Road right here, and then we have a Lone Oak Road way over here on the corner. And we have, people are familiar with a resident called Angles, and we have a road that goes back in this area. And then we've had, this property was auctioned off, I want to say about 2 years ago, and some local business people bought it. And it was a subdivision there about, was formed in 1962, which is the year after I was born, and nothing has happened to it. And so the people who bought it from auction, they've gone in and they've abolished all the property lines, and the dedications that were made for street improvements, they were never improved on that. So the owners of the property wish for it just to be left in a wooded state, and to abolish all of the subdivision that was created and just have one big tract of land. So we support that from many angles, because these are properties that more than likely would not have been developed because the streets were never built in there. And then also when people move on, that become very complicated with all the properties that are there for heirs, because any heirs that would have inherited that property, there was about, I would say, 25 or 30 lots with separate tax bills and all this other. This will be just one tax bill on that, and make it easier for them to maintain something that they've purchased.
I actually know that area very well. I used to own a lot in there, and I think I know somebody else that used to own some lots in that area.
Further down.
So,
Elevation.
I'm very familiar with the area, so. Any questions from the commission?
And this was through planning. It had gone through planning.
Yeah. Okay. Please call roll. Oh, I'm sorry, we just introduced, okay. Sorry. Okay, read the second.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to execute a contract modification number 3 with Pace Contracting LLC to decrease the contract by $10,000 for Pump Station Number 2 rehabilitation project. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute contract modification number 3 with Pace Contracting LLC to decrease the contract by $10,000, adjusting the total construction project from $5,027,269.64 to $5,017,269.64.
So moved.
Second.
The purpose for this action is to just, for our books, since we have a loan with KIA, the Kentucky Infrastructure Association, Authority, we want to just make all the books work, so on all of our accounting of that job. So I'm bringing you $10,000 of savings on that project.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
It's unrelated to these two, or the third one either. But big rain we had, which was a huge rain. I drove by
Which one?
Yeah, but so we have
I mean, we've had about 4 in the past week.
Well, I drove by the work that was done on off Pecan Drive, the bridge replacement.
Yes,
It was incredible.
Yes.
That the amount of water that was flowing through there.
yes,
And I guess that was our bottleneck before.
yes.
And I would fully expect to turn back there because that was kind of a historic rain event. And seeing some flooding there, but I was amazed
It actually
at how
overtopped the
well-
road there, Commissioner, yeah.
Huh?
It actually overtopped the road, even though the project is new. We've got that coming up. But just to share with you information on that, the bridge that we replaced, we opened up the passage, or what we refer to as the hydraulic opening under the bridge to let more flow come under. Plus, we also replaced the bridge at Oak Crest and put that big box culvert in there, so now you can make those turns easier. It was allowing a lot more flow through it, but still, with the rainfall that we had, it still overtopped the road, and the whole purpose of that project was to reduce the frequency that would occur. We didn't didn't say that it would not occur. It would just reduces the frequency in which that would occur. So, yeah, it was challenged the other night, greatly challenged for that. And I actually received compliments. I went out and talked to the people at the apartments there, the Oakcrest Apartments, and I actually found a door under a car that was there, and I said, were you aware that there was a door under the car here? So made their maintenance people aware of that and said, you got to be kidding, no? And said, well, you might want to get it before somebody moves the car and damages the door even more.
So the water rushed the door underneath the car?
Well, actually, at the Oakcrest Apartments, if you go out there, they've built little miniature flood walls about as tall as the dais here. And they built it out in front of the front door, and it's got a little half-height door. And they've got pumps in there so that if there's a surge of water, and those apartments are about 1.5 feet below the floodplain, so which means they're going to flood more often. So they've taken measures to say, okay, if it's going to rain, somebody go out and close the door, turn the pumps on so it'll pump the water, keep up with it. Well, when he was out there, I was looking under the car and I said, what is that? And it turns out it was the door that closes their little flood wall in front of their thing that had broke off the hinges and run under that. So, but I actually visited with the people and they said that they didn't get water in there, so that was good. But no, it's performing well.
Yeah, kudos. Good job.
That was when I called this week. That was our second biggest one since '85, I think.
Well, I did talk to them, and then the maintenance man there the day after, and he said that his rain gauge gives up at 5.5 inches, and he said he measured 5.5 inches in his rain gauge, and we measured 7 inches downtown. So we're getting these horrendous rainfall events.
Whenever we get, there's just no system that's gonna keep up with that. We could get into a long stormwater discussion because there was plenty of places in Paducah that flooded. I saw lots of pictures.
Hard to get around the other day.
Yeah.
So.
And when those events happen, there's just so much you can do.
And Mary, you want just to touch on that, you hit exactly right. There's not a storm sewer system that will cover that. So the expectation is not to handle that or convey all that, but, maybe have fewer events in the future.
Yeah.
And that's what the Buckner Lane project was all about, was to reduce the number of occurrences, not to say that there wouldn't be occurrences.
Yes, the ground had been pretty dry too, so that was in our favor too.
Yeah.
Might not be so dry next time.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, we have one more ordinance to introduce, and I'll ask the city clerk to please read that one.
A proposed motion that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor to execute contract modification number 1 with Jim Smith Contracting LLC to decrease the contract by $74,320 for the Buckner Lane project. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The mayor is hereby authorized to execute contract modification number 1 with Jim Smith Contracting LLC for a decrease in the amount of $74,320 and a new total contract cost of $1,911,194.37.
Second. Or so moved.
Second.
This is on that project, the Buckner Lane Bridge Replacement Project. Actually, we were able to add and improve some of the project and still save money. The bid amount was $74,320 more than that, but we accomplished the project less than the contract amount, and that's generally unheard of.
I wish you'd have said that happens every now and then.
I said generally.
I like to be voting on things like that, saving the city $74,000.
Yeah.
And that was one of our ARPA-funded projects.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, that's great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much. Okay, the last item we have on the agenda tonight is really just a discussion item, and I just want to try to give everybody as much of an update, and City Manager, you can help me on where we are with 911. We have essentially the working group has made a decision on the vendor. I think everybody here became aware of that a couple of weeks ago as we had both vendors here. And, both of the vendors, the winning vendor and the losing vendor, both spoke. But we have selected a vendor, and we're in the process of entering into negotiations to finalize some sort of contract to purchase the equipment, the new 911 equipment. That's a process that we're going through, cross our T's and dot our I's. And, I don't have a timeline on that, but we are moving through that process. There's a couple of other, do you have anything to add to that?
No, the process as it stands right now is being reviewed by our technical expert, and then legal will get a copy of that as well. The county has received and has reviewed it as well from legal. I know that the county attorney will be getting with our legal representation to discuss some of the items in that.
Okay. So there could be some, I guess, some adjustments or whatever, yeah, okay. The other area, another area, that's really important, that we've talked a lot about and we're progressing on is how are we going to fund this and to what amount are we going to fund it? Those are decisions that are, still before us, but I think there is a general consensus, and this would have to come before both commissions, city and county, to vote on it, but there is a consensus at this point that we would use a parcel fee to fund the portion of 911 that we deem that would not come out of our annual budgets. Just to refresh everybody's memory a little bit, between the city and county right now, out of our budgets, on an annual basis, we're funding over $2 million of the cost of 911, the operational cost of 911. That has escalated every single year since, back in the early 90s when we had landline fees that would fund a much greater portion of the 911 costs. But as people have shed themselves of landlines and all of us are using cell phones, that has gone down. And so we are looking for a funding source to help replace a portion of that. We looked at a couple of different options. We looked at possibly putting on a water a monthly fee on a water bill, but after talking with a lot of other counties to see how it's been done, we believe that adding it on as a partial fee, and we have not determined the amount. That's what people are certainly going to be interested to know. Is how much would that partial fee be, and that's yet to be determined. But we are heading down the road of a partial fee. Once we determine a partial fee, that we could not add that on tax bills for 2023. So the tax bill that all of us get in November of 2023, we cannot make that. So we are talking about a timing of adding it on tax bills in 2024. So we're still, do the math. I mean, all of us, we're looking at 16, 17 months away, before that bill would actually hit us. And in fairness, it's going to take a significant amount of time to replace the equipment as well. So the timing of those two events, may kind of come together. But that's the two work streams that we're working on right now. And we will keep everybody updated. We are making progress on 911, albeit it's very slow. It's been slow, continues to be slow, but we're working our way through this decision. That's kind of, do you have anything to add, City Manager?
No, sir.
Any questions, comments from
No?
commissioners? Okay, I guess that means I explained it. So, all right. Any comments from commissioners?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Call roll.
Commissioner Guess?
Aye.
Commissioner Henderson?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Mayor Bray?
Aye.